All right, so today we're going to break down this absolutely wild story that went viral. And trust me, it's got everything: family drama, years of simmering disrespect, and one woman's incredibly detailed plan for payback that all went down over a single Christmas holiday. And get this, it all kicks off with this one bombshell statement. I mean, this single sentence is the spark that lights the whole fuse. We're talking about the exact moment a 5-year power dynamic just gets completely flipped on its head. It's brilliant. Okay, so let's set the scene here. Our main character, if you will, is Margaret. She's 66 years old, and for 5 long years, she's been treated less like family and more like, well, an unpaid servant in her own house. And she has just had enough. She's at her breaking point. So what was the final straw? Well, it happens when her daughter-in-law, Tiffany, just waltzes in and announces, and I mean, she doesn't ask, she tells her that 25 of her relatives are coming for Christmas. And the expectation? Oh, just that Margaret will handle, everything. All the cooking, all the cleaning, the decorating, the whole shebang. Okay, now this is where it gets so good. Look at the contrast here. On one hand, you have Tiffany's pure, unadulterated entitlement. Of course you'll handle it. But Margaret's response, it's not angry, it's not loud, it's calm, it's almost cheerful, and it's a complete and total shutdown. This, right here, is the exact moment she snatches back control. So, of course, her son Kevin gets pulled into this raid. But instead of trying to understand his own mother, he immediately sides with his wife, and he hits her with this just unbelievably insulting line, basically chalking her very valid feelings up to hormones. Can you believe that? Well, all that did was make Margaret even more determined. And here is the real kicker. You have to understand, this giant Christmas party, it's not about family. It's not about holiday cheer. It's a scheme. See, Tiffany and Kevin are completely broke. They just wiped out their savings on a deposit for a fancy new apartment. So the plan is to throw this big, impressive party on Margaret's dime and with her labor, of course, to schmooze some wealthy relatives, Uncle Alejandro and Marco, and hit them up for money. But here's the thing Tiffany and Kevin have absolutely no clue about. Margaret's decision to go on vacation. It wasn't some impulsive emotional reaction. Oh no, this was a calculated counteroffensive that she had been planning for months. So, you might be asking, if it wasn't just a simple vacation, what was her real plan? Well, this is where the story levels up from a simple family argument to, frankly, a masterclass in strategic takedowns. It all started 3 months before that Christmas showdown. Margaret's just cleaning the house as usual, and she stumbles upon a folder. And what's inside? It's the shocking truth about Tiffany. We're talking secret bank statements, secret credit cards opened in her own son's name, personal loans using the house as collateral, and receipts showing these wild, compulsive shopping sprees at luxury stores, all completely hidden from Kevin. And the grand total of all that secret debt, $50,000. Let that sink in. This wasn't just a little overspending. This was a massive calculated web of financial lies. And for Margaret, discovering this changed absolutely everything. So you start to see this huge gap between the story Tiffany was telling and the actual reality. She's telling everyone she has this important career, but nope, it's a part-time at minimum wage job. She's putting on this show of being wealthy and successful, but really, they're drowning in debt. And the whole perfect hostess persona? Yeah, that was all Margaret, doing every bit of the work behind the curtain. So, once Margaret knew all this, she didn't just get mad, she got smart. She went into full-on strategic mode. First, she hired a private detective just to verify everything. Then, she moved all her savings into a brand new secret account. She got a lawyer to legally protect the deed to her house so it couldn't be sold out from under her. And then, and this is the genius part, she started quietly sending proof of all these lies to the exact same relatives Tiffany was planning to ask for money. Alright, so this brings us to the main event, the climax of this whole thing. Margaret is gone, her plan is officially in motion, and the chaos she so carefully orchestrated is about to kick off. What was supposed to be the perfect Christmas is about to turn into a full-blown family intervention. And listen, she didn't just pack a bag and leave. No, no. She systematically removed every single tool Tiffany would need to keep up her facade. We're talking empty pantry, empty fridge, all the nice china, the silverware, the Christmas decorations, locked away. She even canceled the cleaning service that Tiffany always took credit for. She left them with literally nothing to work with. You can just feel the panic building on the morning of the 23rd. At 6:30 a.m., the first frantic voicemail from Kevin hits Margaret's phone. Then, at 7:15, Uncle Alejandro texts, "Hey, we're just 15 minutes away." By 8 a.m., the whole family is on the doorstep, walking into a totally empty house with no food in sight. And just 20 minutes later, Kevin is back on the phone to Margaret, his voice trembling, and you can hear Alejandro in the background, demanding to know what is going on. So, what did this perfect Christmas actually look like? Well, Tiffany's own sister Valeria said it all. Their big, fancy, impressive holiday meal. It turned into ordering pizza for 25 people, and they ate it off of paper towels because Tiffany couldn't even find where the plates were. The entire illusion just completely shattered. But wait, it gets so much worse. As the family starts talking and comparing notes, the lies go from just bad to potentially criminal. They uncover that Tiffany might have committed identity fraud by opening credit in Kevin's name. They find out she borrowed another 20 grand from other cousins with more lies. And then, the most unbelievable one of all, she'd been telling people she was the sole heir to Margaret's house, trying to use a future inheritance she was never going to get as collateral. And that brings us to the final act, the checkmate. With every single lie out in the open, Margaret makes her grand return. But she's not there to clean up the pizza boxes. She's there to lay down the new law. So picture this. It's 10 a.m. on Christmas Eve. Margaret walks back into her house. And she is not alone. She's brought her lawyer with her. Now that is a power move. It's a clear signal that we're done with family squabbles. Now we're talking legal consequences. And the lawyer doesn't mess around. He lays out the new terms, point by point. 1. The will has been amended. The house is now in a protected trust, so it can't be sold or borrowed against. 2. Tiffany's residency terms have changed. She no longer has free reign of the house. 3. She is now personally and legally on the hook for every single fraudulent debt. And 4. The threat of pressing official fraud charges is now very, very real. And Margaret's final word on all of this is just so powerful. She explains that this whole thing wasn't really about revenge. It was about tearing down a toxic system. She came to realize that by just quietly taking the disrespect for years, she was actually enabling a situation that was hurting everyone, including her, her son, and the whole family. So, in the end, where did all the pieces land? Well, first, Tiffany is finally forced to face real consequences. Her husband Kevin has to take a hard look in the mirror and confront his own role in all of this, his willful blindness. The rest of the family now knows the unvarnished truth. And best of all, Margaret gets her home back, and more importantly, she reclaims her peace and her freedom. You know, a story like Margaret's really makes you think about what a family is actually built on. They say a family built on respect is a fortress. So what does that make a family built on lies? Well, as the story shows us, it's not a fortress. It's just a house of cards, waiting for one little gust of wind to bring the whole thing down.